What's up, y'all? All right. We're jumping into this one because that's just how I roll, I guess. So just take what resonates, and I'm okay. We'll see if the cards try to say anything. Okay. I'm sure that the journey. I'm sure. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm pretty certain that this awakening journey is different for everybody. It's gonna be like, it's your journey, it's your story, it's gonna be the certain circumstances that led you to all of it. And oh gosh, okay, I really want to try to keep you guys help me try to get keep it concise. Okay, so I'm just gonna try to give the examples of things that happened to me. So it's I used to have crazy thought. Okay, and I wasn't planning on saying this, but I used to have the crazy thoughts when I was very, very little of I struggled with the idea of infinity. It would wake me up in the middle of the night and I'd have a panic attack. And I used to, I'm definitely not trying to stay neutral. I'm not putting that on anybody. That's just one weird thing that would happen to me. And I used to think about how is it that we can even talk to each other? And I would try to break it down in my head and try to understand how we can understand each other through communication and trying to understand what vibration is and stuff. And I don't know. So I just had different sort of weird thoughts like this, questioning humanity at a very, very young age. And there were a lot of beautiful aspects of my childhood, and I don't even now, there's a lot of gaps, but there's not a lot of things that just feel we were in a lot of void. There was a lot of my mom was very, this came to me yesterday, it was very crunchy, very granola. And we spent a lot of time outside, and we had this we didn't live in a neighborhood. We had a really cool neighbor that was French, and she had a bunch of animals. That's probably one of the reasons that I love animals. We would go and play. She had exotic birds, and she had these German shepherds. And so I had an interesting upbringing, because I think our other neighbors had a beach house, but they weren't down there. They weren't there all the time. And I didn't spend the night at people's houses till a later age. So I was pretty sheltered. I did go to public school for a while, and then it was private school. Okay. I'm trying to stay on track here. Okay, so I don't know, I know my sister and I remember fighting with my siblings. I mean, I think all of us had our beef with each other. And my sister and I remember us being a lot alike when we were younger. Well, yes and no. Yes and no. She was actually more witchy. She used to make concoctions, and she used to do all these and she played with Barbies, and I didn't like dolls. And but we would play together too. And then my brother mostly did his own thing. And he was really into books and Legos and different things. I don't know, but we were at home. We lived far away from town, so we spent a lot of time at home. We spent a lot of time together, and I don't know at what point that I felt I remember there always being a lot of gossip and just not being, since I can remember, I didn't like judgment, and I still to this day am that way. I'm not a fan of it. I know it's not that I've never judged anybody, of course, and all of that, but I always, even though I got into fitness, I would always, that voice I internalized, that critical voice was very internal for me towards myself and not really towards others. And even I still think curvy women are some of the most beautiful women, because to me it all comes down to confidence. When you embody what you got, it's beyond beautiful. And so I've always felt that way. And but somehow I remember there was some spite for me getting into running, because I remember someone specific telling me that I couldn't be a runner. And so I was like, okay, I'll show you. And something about the gym, I remember doing the teen test to get started there when I was like 16, 17, 18, somewhere in that age. And I was driving, and I don't know, I remember still like going there and like being like falling in love with it, because it was like all the different ways that you can, and I danced and stuff growing up, so like I've had some physical, like, but I didn't do sports and stuff like that. So I don't know what it was about it, and like the energy, it was something about the energy, because people are sometimes some people are happy, some people are like pushing themselves to be there, but I don't know what it was about it. And it was at the YMCA, and it was like from that point on I was hooked. And it was like I always had this like extremist way of doing fitness, and I quickly became like addicted to it. And I knew when I started doing like extreme hours, I was like, this isn't normal. And, I had some people pointed out that like, you're getting too small, or, I started doing spinning, and then I started teaching it. But like there was this group of older folk, and I always loved like adults too. That's like another little thing, because I always liked I wanted to have real conversation. But anyway, I wanted to learn something. And so anyway, but they were these, they would be like, you need to go be a kid, go play. Like, you don't need to be at the gym this long. Like, I had this guy that I worked, and I'll try to wrap this up, but like, I had this guy that I worked with that I had a crush on, and he would see me, like, cause we worked together at the front desk, and then he'd be like, why are you here so long? Like, you're already in shape. You're fine. Like, you don't need to work out this long and stuff. So that became my like escape. That became my shelter. That became the thing that like I leaned on for happiness, for like to feel accomplished. Like it gave me like a power high and stuff. And then I've done personal training and stuff like that, which I love just separately as like and teaching classes. Love it. Oh my gosh, y'all, there's a point to all this. Okay, thank you. Oh my goodness. So what came to me today is it was like, these things that cause like, and if I can keep it in check, like fitness is, it's healthy to work out, but it's just like, am I doing the other things that I need to? Am I eating enough? Am I sleeping enough? Am I, not going too hard, not being too extreme in workouts and all these things? It's like, am I not attaching to the way that I look and stuff like that? Because that was a whole separate thing involved in all of that for me. And not needing the validation from other people and stuff like that, because all of it kind of goes together when you become whatever it is that you're attached to. So that came to me today because there was a few different things. Like I woke up, and whenever I have like a lot of dreams, it seems like I wake up tired. I don't know if that goes together, but that's how I felt. And I just felt out of whack, and groggy. And then I went and took a shower, and I'm like, oh, I do not like how I look right now and whatever. But I was like, I heard this voice of like, love on yourself anyway. And, I did that, and I just kept going through it. And it's like, I already could feel and see this shift of like, it just doesn't matter as much anymore. It doesn't matter to me as much anymore. There will be moments for sure. Like there will be moments where it's like, I know, because I just, in that way, there's something about the sensuality and like feeling sexy and like wanting to look cute and stuff like that, or that are, it's something with Venus, because I do think it's women and the feminine energy, but I think it's something that's Venus related, because that's beauty. And so it's like, it doesn't have to be it doesn't have to be like your shape, but it's like, there's something about beauty and like what you are attracted to, different things that you may be attracted to that you want to see or feel or experience, like it's sensual. It's something that is related with the senses that appeals to you. But attaching to like the way that you look is it's the flesh. It's like an addiction. It's like, it's material, it's physical, it's shallow. It's shallow. Thank you. I was trying to find the right word. It's shallow. And that's always going to make us sad. It's always going to bring us unhappiness. And, okay. So here's what came to me is that I grew up experiencing both of my parents, who are still very much this way today, are very, 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 very hard workers. And, they worked hard for the things that they have. I mean, as far as I know. I mean, my dad is like, he wears out all of his clothes and he's just a laborer. Like, he works sun up to sundown, and that's just like, that's his life. Like, his life for a long time has been that. And, so I grew up in that type of environment of feeling like you're supposed to be the martyr. Like, that's who we are. Like, that's who you're supposed to be. You're supposed to get, and it's interesting because I said that yesterday about like what did I say in that post? Like, you sacrifice your own happiness for others when you love them. But like, that's, I felt, even when I said it, I was like, cause it's like, if I'm not making sure yes and no, like, I do think you can do that sometimes, but it's like, if that's a consistent thing for you, it's always going to have an effect. It's always going to drag you back down, and then you're affecting all the people around you in a negative way. So it's like, okay, so let me try to full circle this. So my point in this is that I think that in some way that was related to me getting addicted to fitness, is it was like, okay, I don't feel connected with my family. Like, I don't feel like I fit in with my family. That's not my belonging. That's not my group. And then I kind of fell in love with this whole gym group setting, and that same kind of martyr mindset like clicked in, and it was like, okay, this is my thing that I'm going to martyr myself with, and I'm going to be successful, and that's going to be who I am, type of thing. And that's, and many other things happened, and that became very, very unhealthy. And then just so this has gotten hairy. The strength card's on the bottom. Okay, so one of the things that's been a huge struggle and I continue to struggle with is self-care. So that was the point of me saying all that, is that it's like, I remember like we went through different phases. Like, indulgence was a separate thing too, that like, and I think that's a cultural thing. Like, a lot, at least in America, a lot of people drink, like, and it's normalized to just drink at the end of the day or whatever. So, and with the availability of food for a lot of people and stuff like that, and how fast food is cheaper and all of that, like, it's very easy to fall into that. But I've seen both extremes, but not so much the balance. And, so that's been consistently hard for me. It's like, I actually, when I have the money and like the time, and I love getting creative in the kitchen. I actually enjoy, like, not all the time. I'm not big into cooking, but like, I do enjoy that sometimes. And when I was really into like weightlifting, that was like probably the best balance I ever had, because it was like, you're growing muscles. So you got to keep your nutrition on point. But it's like, that's the reason that made me more balanced. And I've always been disciplined, and I struggle with making sure I'm doing all of the things that I need to do self-care wise. And as a mom, I fall into that all the time of like putting his needs first. I mean, it's like, it's so patterned. It's crazy sometimes. I only realize like after the fact, like, oh crap, I didn't do these things that I need to do for me. So my point in that is that like that struck me this morning when this was happening, is it was like, that's what's the shift that starts to happen, is that it's like all of these other things that used to be so important to you, or that you used to attach to, start to just, their importance, that energetic like attachment dissolves, because you're like, I want to please God. Like, I want to, that becomes like your desire. And I'm speaking that from my vantage point. So that may not be how it is for you. It may be that you love rituals and you're like, you get excited to do it. And amazing. That's beautiful. Or you may, and I don't hate them, I'm just making that point that it's like, there seems to be for men, that's like, I get, that person that gets on me is like, and he serves so many people. So it's like, he like gets impatient and kind of like, I don't want to say mad, but it just seems to be more of a masculine quality to be like, come on, like, why are you not doing what you're supposed to do? Like, you know better. But for me, it's different. And I think it's a woman thing too, because I'm like, I need to change it up sometimes. Like, I cannot do the same thing every single day. I'm sorry. And I feel like that I've seen that with other women too, that it's just like, we don't do things necessarily the same way. And so it doesn't, you can figure that, whatever that is, figure that out however it fits you. But there is a lot to be said about staying consistent in your routines, because that keeps you balanced. And so for me, that's been my drive to like be able to still show up and be in service and be a role model, be a leader, do my job, do the job that I want to do now, like create a better life for me and Teddy. Like, those are the things that like that make me want to stay on track. But it's not, but the self-love has been something that I've had to develop over time, because it was like, what do you mean? Like, martyrdom is normal. Like, that was so ingrained in me that it was like, I've had to like break that down to be like, no, that's actually not normal. It's not normal to not want to take care of yourself. It's not normal to not want to fuel yourself properly. You know, like these different things. I pushed that extremism with myself so much that I've had to like retrain myself, I guess that's the best way to put it. But that's the beauty in it too, because we're always going to be of the flesh. Like, there may be those weaknesses you always have to have. Like I said today, it's like not feeling beautiful, and it's like, but it's like, it's okay. It doesn't matter. Like, I'm not going to always feel beautiful. I'm not going to always feel good. And, that drive to please the Most High, to still be able to show up, to still be able to they're telling me like, it's that discipline. What is that phrase? It's like, discipline is greater than motivation or something. Cause like thank you. I was like, why I feel like I drew this out too far, but I wanted to give some examples from my own life. Discipline that supersedes motivation when you're struggling with motivation. That's what it was. Like today I was like, I'm just not motivated to do this. Like, I don't feel good. I'm whatever. And, I fell back yesterday because I had a moment on our drive. I started to lose energy, and I had a moment on our drive back, where, I was like, oh, I just want to be able to have someone to talk to. Like, that's when you know that's like, there's a need that's not being met. Like, it's not that it's bad for us to get out of alignment. Well, you don't want to try not to get out of alignment, but like, it's not bad to want to like talk to other people or like have these different desires, but it's like anything that pulls you off of your path. And I'm piggybacking from someone else who is speaking on something different, but that in the same way, it's like the things that try to pull you off your path end up being to your detriment. And that becomes more and more and more. So it's like, the more focus, that's what I mean. Like, that your desire to please God is like supersedes everything. Cause it's so easy to be like, oh, whatever. I just want to do something where I'm distracted. I just want to escape. I just want to whatever. I just want to drink. I just want this. But it's like, God is like, no, I want you to want me most. I want you to be focused on this thing. And it's wild, because that does seem sort of, seems like you're whipped or whatever, but it is like being a servant in a sense, because it's like, we're a slave to all of these other things, as is. And so it's like being a servant to, which I don't like the term slave, but like being a servant to God, the Most High. It's like, He's like, if you continue this, if you keep your focus on this, on me, on your path within, and not all these things outside of you, you will be happy. You will be okay. You will be content. You will be at peace. You will be able to handle what's on your plate. You will be able to keep pressing on, and it won't be, and I will help lighten the load type of thing. Like, it's just one of those, like, you know when you're in flow and you feel it, but it's like, I have to keep coming back to that place. So I don't know if that's an extremist thing to say, like that the desire for God supersedes all other desires, because that is very, to me, even speaking it, I'm like, that's very radical. But to me, that's what happens, because it's like, I did that last night, and then I could feel the pull to like do other things that these people were suggesting for me to do. I don't know. And you know, like that, it's like, anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked, but it's like, what I have on my plate every day, it's like I sometimes get overwhelmed by it, but it's like if I keep my focus, that overwhelm goes away. At least so. Because it's easy for us to look at each other and feel sorry for each other too. Like I said, when I got I got off track yesterday, and I'm speaking all this like anger that's coming up. It's like, yes, I needed to feel that anger, but I'm realizing more and more that like the more I make a post about it, or I play in that competition, or I play in that like I'm mad, I'm just fueling the ops, or I'm fueling this this separation from my whatever it is I need to be focused on. I'm not focused in those moments. I'm not channeling that in a way that would like be of service. And so, yeah, in that chat last night, there's all these things, and, you know, and I was like, it was entertaining and stuff, but it's like, I had that realization of like, is this something is this really what I need to be doing? And, it's not truth, because it's like people like all these different accounts, and I don't want to be putting emphasis where it doesn't need to be. I'm just making the point that it's like, it'll be specific to you, what it is that drives you, and what it is that keeping that focus on your mission, your purpose, on God, on your rituals and the things, the self-care that will help you stay aligned, and more that all of these other desires and even these like dense emotions and will start to fade, and you don't get all the answers. You just start to not question everything too, because the more that you can get out of your head and back into your body, it's just, you're like, okay, I accept this as it is. Because I even think about all the groups that I started joining in the very beginning, and all of it was just to get you out of your head. Meditation gets you, is technically, I mean, it kind of is like what I feel like, and I think about yoga. Like, I remember every time I walk away from a yoga session, I feel like this zen kind of out of body. I don't want to say the wrong thing, because like, you don't want to play around with the idea of out of body and get crazy with it. But like, it is this kind of in between floaty state. And so it's like most of the things that you do, meditation, yoga, are to bring you back into alignment, where it's like you don't need to attach to thought, and then you're better able to focus, and you just don't question everything, and you don't feel this need for all these things outside of you. And the more that you create a routine that works for you, the easier that it is to just stick with that. And hopefully you won't be like me, and that will be easy for you, and that won't be, your struggle might be something else. But we didn't pull cards, because that's just what was coming to me. Because the last thing I'm going to say, because it just came to me, is that if you see divinity in someone else, that means that there's divinity in you, and that is in all of us. But it's not that, I don't believe that everyone's going to wake up and see that in this lifetime. If you want to see someone and you want to hate them, that's a choice. So, and that's a separation. So, or want to be jealous of them or hurt by them and blame them, then it's like, it is what it is. But if you see the divinity in someone, then it's inside of you too, and you just need to find it and know that you are worthy. And even like don't speak the words like I'm depressed. Like say, I'm strong, I can do this. Like, you know, back to those affirmations, and it's gonna still happen. You're still gonna fall back down, but the more that you can just pour that love and acceptance into yourself, the more that you're gonna see that divinity in you. Okay, this got dragged out. All right, I love you guys.